And what I want to do is really just talk to the family. It's been a minute. It's been a hot minute since we actually just did a car mastermind, a live stream straight from the whip, and I have time, right? So, I've been doing a lot of free one-on-ones, and here's where I'm a hypocrite. I would say I'm not doing any more free one-on-ones. Then after a while, I'll meet somebody, I'll have some experiences, and I'll be like, "Hey, man, I'm gonna do some free one-on-ones just to help out the people because I know not everybody can afford to pay the $2,500 an hour we charge for masterminds, right?" And it's been so insightful. I'm back not doing them again, also, by the way, but it's been so insightful lately because I think I finally realized what's the difference between the people that watch social media. Well, let's make it even more personal. The difference between the people that watch me and that's going to go on to make 6 and 7 figures a year, and the people that are going to watch me and life is going to be basically however it is right now. All right. And man, the common denominator that I see amongst those people is that the most successful people do not stop. Do not stop. I had so many people tell me, "Hey man, I've been watching you since the Courier days." Let's establish this. I'm your favorite country cousin, JT. Nothing that I say is a personal attack. It's not trying to make you feel like any less of a human being. I believe that families should be able to have hard conversations, right? If your family can't tell you, "Hey man, you need to get off them drugs," who can tell you need to get off of drugs? If your family can't tell you, "Hey bro, you need to lose weight," right? It's not if they really love you and you know everything we do is in the spirit of all love. They not doing it to embarrass you. They not doing it to try to, laugh at you or make you feel bad, right? They doing it because they genuinely want to see your longevity, your well-being, your quality of life improve. So that's the kind of dialogue we have here. You guys say stuff to me all the time, but I sometimes say stuff back to y'all as well, but it's always in that spirit of, man, listen, family want to see you overall improve your quality of life. Many of you all are not cut out for entrepreneurship, and if you don't change your mindset and change your behavior, it don't matter who you watch. It don't matter if you watch me, Myron Golden, Alex Hormozy, Russell Brunson, Grant Cardone, Dave Ramsey, Robert Kiyosaki, Ray Dalio, Tony Robbins. If I haven't named them, I might be starting over again, right? It don't matter. Earn your leisure. It don't matter who you watch. If you don't change how you think and the behaviors that you do, it don't matter how good the podcast, how good the video was, you will not consistently make any money. If you believe that your success is predicated on another person, this could be a mentor, this could be your kids, this could be your spouse, this could be your employer. If you believe that whether or not you will see financial success depends on what's going on with your kids, what's going on with your spouse, what's going on with your job, what's going on with your mentor, you have already lost the game. You've already lost the game, right? Now, I'm not saying that those factors don't have a real impact to some degree on your life, but they can delay gratification, but they shouldn't impede it totally, right? I love my daughter dearly. I'm going to serve my purpose that I feel like God created me, right? When God blessed me with a wife, I'm going to love her dearly. I'm going to still serve the purpose that I think God created me here for. That go for my mama. That go for any and everybody. And I think lots of times people are saying, well, I'm doing it for my family, so of course they can be the ones to impede it. right? And you have to change your mindset. Nobody in the world can make JT rich or poor other than JT. You want to know why? Because I choose what I consume, what actions I take, what actions I take. And the same is true for you as well. I'm going to be real. Don't book another one-on-one call with me that say that you've been watching me ever since I've been an independent courier and you still struggling. Because I done went homeless, made millions, behind the scenes had economic hardships you ain't even know about, ran it back up again, bought houses, invested in businesses, have employees, right? So in that same amount of time that you was watching and still ain't getting no motion, I have failed 50 times, I've succeeded 60 times, just putting the reps in. And you still don't know what to do? Right? That's a cop-out, man. That's cap. That's you. Right? That's you. And I do these videos knowing these videos don't go viral. These videos is not the most liked videos. I don't really care about that. Right? By the grace of God, if I retire today, I'll be just fine. We got real estate. We got stocks. We got equity in businesses that are not related to the internet at all. Right now, the internet can help every business, but I'm talking about brick and mortar physical businesses, right? That you don't know that I own. So all of that to say this, right, is that, man, I'm a firm believer, right? I'm a firm believer in, man, let's just tell the people the truth. That's why I'll never be the biggest content creator, because I'm not the type of person that would just say, okay, you know what, I'm going to just try to talk slick so the words don't stick and always try to say whatever I think will make you subscribe, share the video, or whatever. Here's the real behind it. If you try something for a week and it doesn't work and you look for something else, you deserve to be poor. If you try something for a month, 2 months, 6 months, right? For anybody that doesn't know, I've been doing content creation for over 8 years now. The first 8 months I was on YouTube, I got paid $0. My very first check 8 months later was $400. There is almost nobody here, I dare say maybe nobody here, that will go get a job today, work that job for free for 8 months, and then after the 8 months, they say, man, we see you've been working your behind off. You've been putting in 10, 12-hour shifts consistently. Man, we got to give you something. Here's a $400 check, right? For all you do, this do is for you. Nobody, right? For years of being on social media, all my money came from my independent courier business, right? My e-commerce businesses that was not tied to my social media, and that's it. Even before that, though, let's be real. I was not a trash employee. I have 5 years of work experience in my life. I'm 36 years old. I have 5 years of work experience. I have 0 years of work experience in my 30s. I got my first job when I was, my first real job, because of course we did, like, I used to be the chain runner at the football game for the Little League games. When I was in high school, we would go to the rec, me and my boy Twan, and y'all know that play football, they got the chains to mark the first down. So while we was in high school, one of our little side hustles, but we considered it a job, was we would run up and down the sidelines as the rec teams, the younger kids, played football. So one of us will stick it here, other one go down there, marking 10 yards so that way they know where the first down is, right? But my first real job, outside of little, you know, side hustles, stuff like that, because that didn't really pay any money, right? United States Marine Corps. I joined the United States Marine Corps at 17 years old. I was so young when I joined the United States Marine Corps, I couldn't even sign myself up. My mother had to sign the paperwork because I wasn't 18 years old, right? So the United States Marine Corps is 4 of my 5 years of work experience. My other year of experience was in corporate America, a company called Berkshire Hathaway. If you've never heard of it before, it's the portfolio company that Warren Buffett owns. Everybody has heard of Warren Buffett. That's all the work experience I have, but let's talk about it. In the Marine Corps, when I got out, right, my old commanding officer is William C. Gray. If you go find him on LinkedIn, he tracked now to have $100 million government contracting business, and a genius guy. I would say if he doesn't become a billionaire, it's by his own personal conviction that he just doesn't want to do it, right? He was my commanding officer, and he was going to sign off on the paperwork because I started off enlisted for me to go become an officer. I did 4 years enlisted in the United States Marine Corps, right? And then I could have went and became a lieutenant and then went up the officer ranks, right? And I'm telling you guys his name so you can fact check me, right? I don't think he's on Instagram or YouTube or nothing like that, but he does have a LinkedIn. So does 8 figures a year now, right? Outside of the Marine Corps, he's retired. Outside the Marine Corps, business does 8 figures a year. That's over $10 million a year, right? But when I was in the Marines, he was my commanding officer, all right? If you think I'm lying, you can ask him yourself, right? Because there's a lot of people on the internet, you got to trust that they making money, right? I'm one of the few people on the internet that'll tell you this. I'm in a Honda Civic Sport. I'm richer than most people you follow that got a Lamborghini, right? Richer than most, and not even, that ain't even a shot at them. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, right? It's just, you get what I'm saying? Right? Like, to me, I had a Honda, I had a Toyota. I don't got the Toyota no more. I got other cars coming, but I'm just telling you guys literally what I'm in right now. You know how some people, they always want you to know they're in a Rolls Royce, they're in a Lamborghini. I want you to know I'm in the Honda. You want to know why? I got this Honda early on in my entrepreneurial journey, right? This Honda still running fine. All right? If I would have brought one of my other vehicles to Miami, right? I told you guys I'm coming out of Miami. What one tank of gas costs in my quote-unquote nice cars, right? By what most people would consider, oh, that's a nice car, that's a you got money car. Man, what it costs me, because them cars only take 93 or better, right? If you get something crazy, you can't even put premium in it. You got to go beyond 93, right? But what one tank of gas costs me in there, and it take me 2.5 tanks of gas to get to Miami from North Carolina in those vehicles, right? That same money will take this Honda all the way there, right? And then I throw it in the tank again, I'm going all the way back, right? And I don't want to put them kind of miles on a premium vehicle, right? So I say that to say this, right? There's multiple points I want to make here. First point is this. Some of you all think because you suck as an employee, that's a sign you're going to be a multi-millionaire entrepreneur. No, you're going to suck as an entrepreneur too. If you suck, you suck, right? Now, you can choose not to suck. It's not like you were born with the suck gene, right? So you can choose not to suck, but don't think, oh, I can't get a job, or this side hustle I tried for 30 days didn't work. Man, I must need to go do this other business and I'm going to be a highly successful entrepreneur. No, it's you. You going to be the common denominator in all your successes and all your failures, right? You are going to be the common denominator. I was a great employee. Most people, now in 4 years, I was an E4. That's called a corporal in the Marine Corps. You don't need to know that. That won't be on the final exam, right? Lieutenant Colonel Gray, right, was going to sign off and allow me to go to OCS. I was going to go to a place called Quantico, Virginia, right? And then I would have been a lieutenant after that. I decided to get out of the Marines. Honorably discharged after 4 years. Honorably discharged, right? But anybody that's been in the military will tell you, if a lieutenant colonel is willing to sign off on an E4 to become a second lieutenant, then this E4 probably had to look good on paper at least. Any veterans here, any active service members here, right? If just a lieutenant colonel, right? Silver leaf, was about to sign off on a 2-stripe corporal, right? I look pretty good on paper. All right, if you don't believe it, ask somebody that was in the military or that's in the military. All right, and that was with no cosign. My master guns didn't recommend it. My major didn't recommend it. My sergeant didn't recommend it. Right, like that was just straight up me to him, no cosign, no recommendation. Right, that's my 4 years, the majority of my real job work experience. Transition from there, I'm in Berkshire Hathaway, Warren Buffett's company. First month there, I get employee of the month, right? That and $1, you can go get a soda. Don't really mean nothing in the real world, but that tells you how I was overperforming. How you get employee of the month your first month at a multi-billion-dollar company, right? And long story short, I closed a sale that my sales manager was trying to close for a while. I closed the sale the first month I was there, right? And I wasn't trying to close the sale. Truth be told, I just talked to the guy like a man. And I told him what he didn't need. Hey, man, what you trying to do? Well, I don't think you need this. If you need anything, you need that, right? And he appreciated that I wasn't just trying to get the most money out of him. I just told him realistically, this is what you need based off what you wanted. And he appreciated that I was the only person out of all of these huge companies that wasn't trying to squeeze every dollar out of them, right? So, that being said, let's move on though. So at Berkshire Hathaway, I got brought in as an assistant operations manager, and then I became an operations manager. Berkshire Hathaway owns a portfolio of companies. One of the companies is called Extra Lease. Extra Lease is one of, and the first of its kind. It's a nationwide semi-trailer leasing company. So you know those 18-wheelers that go up and down the highway, and they take the trailers. Sometimes it's a 48-foot reefer, sometimes a 53-foot dry van. They might do pups, they might do flatbeds, they might do goosenecks, blah, 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 right? You don't got to be in the trucking, so it don't matter all of the fancy pants terms, right? So what my job is the sales manager had to lease that stuff out, right? An empty yard is a profitable yard with Berkshire, right? So I was under Berkshire, but they put me at Extra Lease, which is one of their portfolio companies, to do that, right? So now the sales manager will go promise you the sun, the moon, the stars, and the heavens as long as you agree to rent or lease a piece of equipment. It's up to the operations manager to take all of the stuff that he lied to you about. Sometimes it's a lie, but it's not always. But to take everything he told you and make it come true, right? So if you said, okay, I need to lease 60 semi-trailers for 2 years, and he know for a fact we only got 5 of them on the yard, I have to figure out what other departments have dry vans or reefers or whatever you need, and I gotta convince them to send their equipment to us so that way we can lease it. Sounds easy enough, but you gotta understand, if I lease it, like I was in Baltimore, Maryland, if I call Atlanta, Georgia, well, Atlanta would have been too far. If I call Pennsylvania, right? So if I call Pennsylvania or Delaware, and I got that Extra Lease location to agree to allow us to take their equipment and lease it out here, then they can't make money off of it. And that determines the sales manager's bonus and commissions. That determines the operations manager's bonuses, commissions, right? So literally I'm taking money from them and their family in order to make this deal happen, right? So you got to convince people to possibly miss out on money that they could make so you can make the money. And then that stuff came back in. I had to inspect it. I had to find contractors to fix it. I had to manage the contractors to make sure that they fixed it in a timely manner so we could get it back out there. So pretty much I did everything, or my job description was to do everything except get people to lease it or rent it out, right? Yeah, I seen those trailers everywhere. So I was, they brought me in as an assistant, then they fired my senior ops manager and gave me his job, right? Now, your base salary was trash. It was 20-something an hour, right? That worked out some grand a year. How we made 6 figures a year is off of commissions. So once a trailer gets so old, I can sell it, you know, and it was other little things that you could do as well to make extra money. So I was selling my behind off, but your sales manager wants to sell them too. So that's what we did though. And then what I learned though is I learned a lot of great things about business. All right, like for example, New Bern, y'all know Pepsi, if I'm not mistaken, right? Pepsi was started in North Carolina, right? A place called New Bern, if I'm not mistaken. Y'all let me know. I don't drink Pepsi, but I'm just trying to recall when I was working at Extra, right? So if, let's say that, and I hope this never happens, fictitiously speaking, you get into an accident with a semi-trailer, you're not at fault, the trailer's at fault. If the trailer says, Chris and them logistics, you gon' say, hey, I'm gonna sue Chris and them logistics insurance and try to get the most money I can. And if they offer you $50,000, $100,000 plus whatever it costs to repair your car, and let's say you don't have any injuries to your person, right, or any persons, if they say we'll give you enough money to buy a new car plus $50,000 to $100,000 for yourself, most people will take that deal. Now, what if you have that same accident, no individual was hurt, but when you look at the trailer said Walmart, the trailer said Pepsi, the trailer said Amazon, right? Now, if they try to settle with you and say, okay, you was in a 2005 Jeep Wrangler, we'll give you enough money to buy a 2026 Jeep Wrangler plus $50,000 in your pocket, a lot of people will be like, nah, I want millions, right? I want millions of dollars because y'all a multi-billion-dollar company, right? Or y'all could at least give me several hundred thousands of dollars. Y'all got it, right? So it's more legal costs. I'm not saying that you'll get that money, but they'll accrue more legal costs at a bare minimum. And then you might get nothing, or you might end up getting what they wanted to give you in the first place, right? So all of that to say this, one thing that I learned about business is that not every aspect of your business has to be known. So when Pepsi, when Amazon, when Walmart, yeah, you see those semi-trailers going down the highway, but what you don't see is how many just semi-trailers going down the highway that don't have a name on it that you recognize as a multi-billion-dollar company, and they're using that for that reason, right? Because internally we had a list of pretty much code names, and if New Bern said that they wanted to lease trailers, that was Pepsi. All right. So, you know, New Bern to somebody else might mean nothing. If you saw a New Bern trailer, you like, I don't know what New Bern is, right? So all of that is that, as well as a lot of other I was in logistics. I transitioned out of that after a year, started an independent courier business, scaled that up, went really well. But I learned a lot of things there. The big takeaway here is this though. I was a great employee in the United States Marine Corps. All right. For the 4 years I served honorably. I was a great employee. I had what they call a 12-month. It was 12 or 18 month. I forget now. It's been so long ago. I left my last job in 2014. So it's been 12 years ago is what I'm trying to reminisce. And I got out of the military in 2012. So I served in the Marines 2008 to 2012. And then I think I took a year or so just to go to school. And then by 2014, I was working and going to school and starting my own business and blah, 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 right? So the first thing that we got to establish is this. If you a trash person when it comes to making money in business or on a job, then you got to fix who you are. There is no business that turns a trash business owner into a great business owner, right? You can't say, well, oh, I suck at such and such job, so I might as well start my own business. No, right? You're going to be the common denominator for all of your successes. You're going to be the common denominator for all of your failures. So if you suck, you suck. Now, what do I mean by that? Because, I mean, we use terms and then people have their own definition of it. So entrepreneurially speaking, what does it mean to suck? Right? I would say the biggest part of sucking as an entrepreneur is being either consciously or subconsciously selfish. Are you more interested in making a sale or how much money you can make than giving the customer an experience, a product, a service that exceeds whatever they pay for? I'm not saying you got to be cheap, right? My daughter want to go to a place called Great Wolf Lodge for her birthday. Probably going to be there for 2 days max. So far, the trip's going to cost at least $1,000. Probably going to be more than that. Her birthday's not until September, so by the time she add on all her bells and whistles and extras, it might be more than that, right? So she about to go slide down some sliding boards, go swim, go just have a ball for 2 days, basically to the tune of at least $500 a day, right? I know a lot of people that will say, man, look, it don't cost that much to have, she turning 9, to have a 9-year-old birthday party, right? But do you know that Great Wolf Lodge and the surrounding activities, right, they don't have to twist nobody's arm to come. They don't gotta beg you to come. They don't gotta say pretty please with a cherry on top and $20 on top of the cherry, right? They do just fine in business. Why? Because they know that even though they're not the cheapest, the experience that they're given is going to exceed the cost, right? In the hearts and minds of the people that they ideally want to come and enjoy working with them. Does that make sense? All right, does that make sense? So that is what I'm telling you. You don't got to be the cheapest, but I don't care if you sell me something for $1. If I feel like it was worth 2 cents, I'm mad, right? If you sell me something for $10,000, but I felt like it was worth $60,000, I feel like I got over on it. I want to do business with you all the time, right? I bought an investment property for $11,000, flipped it for $57,000, right? I was sad when the wholesaler that sold me the property said, hey, I'm getting out of property, I'm just gonna do raw land, right? I'm like, man, you ain't got no more houses? Like, I would love to give you another $10,000, $11,000 for a house. Now, she got the house, because she was transparent with me, she got the house under contract for $0. So that was $10,000, $11,000, give or take. I don't know what operating expenses she had to run her wholesaling business. But the better part of that is going to be profits. It's not like she got to give the seller any money, right? So what if you ran a business that was at like 80+% profit margins? You sold something that was $10,000 and people were sad when you stopped selling it to them, right? I was genuinely hurt. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't talked to her. I don't think I talked to her much since, right? It ain't no beef. She got a YouTube channel now. Her YouTube channel is crushing it. She talking about real estate. I'm out of my feelings now. I got to circle back around and see if she'll have me on the show, right? And I might even tell this story more in depth on her platform. But man, I was tight. Man, how you gonna just leave me like that? No disrespect. She married, happily married, had children. I don't mean it in a disrespectful way to her relationship. I'm talking about professionally speaking. Just transactions, getting real estate. I felt like, man, how you gonna just leave me like that, girl? Man, I'm in my feelings about that. I want some more $10,000 houses I can go sell for 50, 60,000. Right? How you just gonna up and leave me now? How you gonna act like that? So you don't gotta be the cheapest. All right. Lesson number one: what does it mean to suck as an entrepreneur? All you man, I need $1,000 real quick. Man, what I could do to get $1,000 in 30 days, right? And you like a squirrel, right? If you ever seen a squirrel, every little noise, they on the lookout for. They know just about anything to eat them, right? Snake, bird, humans. Where I'm from, I'm from the country, right? By everything to eat a squirrel, right? So they always any new distraction, they give it their undivided attention because they worry like, man, this might be it. I gotta see it coming. I gotta get up out of here. But there's so many humans that's behaving like y'all squirrels. Every new business, how you gonna watch 3 YouTube videos in a day and now you want to start 3 different businesses, but you had an LLC since 2020, since COVID came, and you ain't did nothing with that yet. You started writing that book years ago. The book ain't finished yet, right? How many ideas you had up to this point you ain't did a thing with? You got to stop being a squirrel, man. Anything can make you a lot of money. You could cut grass and make a lot of money. You could sell food and make a lot of money. You could wash cars and make a lot of money, right? You could make social media content and make a lot of money. You could write books and make a lot of money. You could trade stock options. You could do e-commerce. You could do real estate. There's an unlimited amount of things you could do to make a lot of money. None of them work if you try to do them all. There's an unlimited number of things you could do to make a lot of money. The only thing, or one of the biggest things, right? Not the only thing, but one of the biggest things that'll cause you to fail is you trying to do them all. Who here been rocking with me long enough to remember when I was just an independent courier, right? Drop me in the chat. Anybody remember when every video I was in a cargo van, a box truck, a Sprinter, I had a cart, mail bags, boxes, totes, right? Drop me in the chat, right? Do you know when I was a courier, I was only a courier? Meanwhile, it's people that watch me and say, man, I'm going to do a courier business. I'm going to trade stocks. I'm going to flip a house. I'm going to start a skincare, hair care brand, right? I made my first 6 figures and I had tunnel vision. All I'm going to do is be a courier. All I'm going to do, right? Do you think people were still trading stock options when you was watching me be a courier? Was it people still flipping houses? Was it people making millions of dollars on YouTube then? I wasn't, but was people still making millions of dollars then? Of course, they was making a lot of money doing other stuff. But guess what would have guaranteed that I wouldn't have been successful? If I would have said, hey, look, man, I'm a trade stocks, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. There's something called decision-making fatigue. You're only going to make so many good decisions in a day, right? Your brain is a muscle. Every muscle gets tired, right, over time. So the more you work it, it's going to get fatigued. So you expect to be able to keep up with what the market is telling you and your thing to swim account, right? Or whatever trading software you use. We use Charles Schwab Think and Swim, right? And then after that, you're going to run a portfolio of companies, but you're a solopreneur earning less than $6,000 a month, and you really don't know what you're doing in none of them, right? I tell people, like, I became a courier with employees, right? My cousin Man, my friend Mike was my first 2 employees when I was an independent courier. All I did was drive. And then I was interested in other stuff, but I was like, man, this right here, this working, need to lock into this. It wasn't until we started having major issues because I grew too fast, right? I was really good at getting contracts, and I was charismatic enough to get drivers, but I didn't really know how to run a business. I was just a hustler, right? But I was a real hustler though. I wasn't no say I'm a hustler because it sound cool hustler, right? What do you mean, JT? A lot of you all will say, hey man, I'm a hustler, man. I'm a, by any means, as long as it's legal, ethical, moral, not against God, just like you say, JT. All right, how many of you all will get up at 4:30 in the morning, every morning, 6 days a week, to drive to a warehouse, to unload a 53-foot semi-trailer, to sort the freight by different routes, so that way you can find your route and then sort your freight in reverse order for the delivery, right? Reason why you do it in reverse order is because you want to put your first stop in last, so it's closest by the door. So you're going to sort your freight in reverse order, load up your vehicle, so that way the last thing you put in there is the first thing that's coming out when you get to your first stop. Drive, right? Drive anywhere from 300 to 700 miles a day, right? And rinse and repeat that every single day. Every single day, 7 days a week. 4:30 in the morning, be at the warehouse no later than 5. Some of you all might have to get up earlier than that, but I was right by the warehouse. So we could get up at 4:30, right? Brush our teeth, wash our face, right? And took a shower the night before. So boom, we could be there by before 5 really, but no later than 5. Just to unload. Anybody ever worked a warehouse job and had to unload pallets and unstack pallets before with a hand cart, right? If you do that for enough hours, you know that that's a job already, right? So oftentimes you already sweaty before you even left the warehouse, right? So you done did a warehouse job. Now you got a delivery driver job, and you got touch freight. You know, a lot of people that got bigger trucks, they got no touch freight. All they do is back in, wait for somebody to cut the seal, unload the freight, reload it, boom, they gone. Or if they gonna bobtail it or whatever, they gone, right? That's the real dog right there. When you sick, you get up at 4:30 in the morning to go unload semi-trucks, right? Because we might have one truck for mail, one truck for pharmaceuticals. We might have an overflow truck, right? Because they couldn't fit everything. Around fourth quarter, around Christmas, it's a lot of mail, right? It's a lot more pharmaceuticals. People will get extra medicine because they know they're going to be traveling to see family, and they won't be able to go back to their local doctor, pharmacy, or whatever, or they don't want to do it while they around the holiday season, right? So you going to unload at least 2 semi-trailers, right? Around 5 something in the morning, where most people still in the bed sleep. Be at your first stop by 6 o'clock, right? And you got to finish the route before the business close. Other than the post office will let us show up. I think they're open, or they used to be open, up to like an hour after they closed to the public, since we was delivering to the back. Every day, from 2014 to y'all knew about me in 2017. And even for the better part of 2017, that's all I did. There are no uploads on my channel prior to 2017. You know why? I was tired. Man. I'm getting up 4:30 every morning to unload semi-trailers, to sort freight, right? Because it's going to come in, everybody freight mixed together. So if I'm the Myrtle Beach route, you the Charlotte route, right? This person is the Fayetteville route. This person is the Lumberton route. This person is the Wilmington route, right? I don't know if you guys are from the Carolinas, but big cities that are far away apart, right? So this person got to go all the way to Ocean Isle Beach, all right? We got to sort that so that way the stuff that should be going with me don't end up on your vehicle. It's not in your cargo van, box truck, Sprinter van, right? Ain't nobody in the warehouse doing that, right? Being an independent courier sounds sweet. Being a medical courier sounds great. You making 6 figures a year sounds amazing. Till you pull up to the warehouse and it's a warehouse manager that's in charge of the track and trace system, opening up the warehouse. But that's one person, right? Could be a man, could be a woman, but that's the warehouse chief. Do you know who the staff is to help unload, sort freight, load stuff up? You, the independent courier. That's your job. Unless you in a major city that gets a massive amount of freight, most independent courier companies, all of that is on the driver. And you do that every day. And your lower back start hurting because you doing this motion all day long, loading freight and pulling freight out. Most independent couriers that do it long term end up with a hernia, end up with lower back pain, right? That's why if you guys been rocking with me for a while, I saw a lot of me's in the chat, right? I came up with what I call the Locklear Spear because Mr. Mike Locklear invented it and gave it to me and told me I could sell it, right? Mr. Mike Locklear is a 6'8" man, right, that started having excruciating back pain because of years of being an independent courier. So he would JB weld a metal hook on top of an extendable pole. The extendable pole you use to wash semi-trailers with, so that way he didn't have to shred his back just to do his job, because his wife was in college and they had 3-4 kids together and he was the sole breadwinner of his household. And that's how that man fed his family. Now, everybody want to make 6 figures a year, but how many people will say, man, at the expense of my back, at the expense of my sleep? Some of y'all love to sleep, right? Anybody here really did the independent courier business before? Tell me I'm lying. Not you saw it on a video, not you watched my video or some other people's videos. Who was actually there? I was the butt in the seat for many, many years. Ain't nobody told me what it was like to be a courier. I owned a courier business that stretched from Delaware to Virginia, West Virginia, right? If you stayed anywhere between Delaware to the Virginia, West Virginia area, so that included DC, Maryland, everything in between, right? If you own a Buick, Cadillac, what's the ones that be together, right? If you own that kind of vehicle and you got it from the dealership, and then you ever went to the dealership to get maintenance, my company delivered the parts. So if you ever went to the dealership and, oh man, you need a alternator, you need this, you need that, or stuff you just want. I want new floor mats, I want this, I want that, right? From about 2014 to 2016, so that 2-year stretch, if you bought from any dealership, it didn't matter, right? Man, we was the company. We had, I say that region, right? Maybe that's not a real region, but y'all know I got a South Carolina education. But I had Delaware to Virginia, West Virginia. If that's not a region, I don't know what else to call it. Y'all tell me the right term. But we made a killing in that area. But I grew too fast. I didn't know how to manage people. I thought if you paid them above average, literally this is what I thought. Google how much somebody that do this kind of job get paid, okay, pay them more than that. And if you pay them more money, they'll be good workers. I know that sounds dumb to you all that have been in business for a while, because it is. But honestly, when I started off, that's what I thought. Well, okay, online they say in this area, people get paid $35,000 a year to do this. I'm gonna pay them 40. Extra $5,000 a year for the exact same job. Nobody else will pay you this much money for this kind of work. And that's gonna make them work hard. That's gonna make them stay with me. No, they're them. They just gonna be trash employees that's overpaid, right? So I grew too fast, had issues, had to come back home to the Carolinas, and then I rebuilt that from the Virginia state line. So not Virginia, but like the North Carolina side. So from the south of the Virginia state line all the way down to, I don't know if you guys ever heard of Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. So it was a smaller area, but I had to come back, and then we rebuilt the business again with way less employees. I was doing way more of everything then, because I was mad at, man, I'm doing right by these people, I'm paying them, I'm doing this, doing that, and they did me like that, right? Amateur, blaming other people, don't really know business, right? That's a surefire way that you don't really know what you're doing in business, when you start blaming employees. And it took me a while to learn that. And the reason why it's your fault is because who hired them? Who trained them? Who didn't train them? Even if you didn't hire them, who allowed them to be hired in your organization? Ultimately, if it's your business, everything is your fault, right? Now, you got to give the credit to the team. That's how you motivate the team. That's how you keep them working hard, right? Everything good that happens in the company is because of the team. Everything bad that happens in the company is because of the founder, right? Or the CEO, if the founder separates themselves from being the CEO, right? So you suck as an entrepreneur if all you care about is money, and if you're not willing to do whatever it takes for however long it takes, with no guarantee that it will ever take for you to reach your goals. Plain and simple. And you don't gotta, you can unsubscribe from the channel. That don't make it any less true. You can write a negative comment. That don't make it any less true, right? Here's what's dope about the truth. The truth don't change if you don't like it, right? Let's make it personal, because this ain't no attack at y'all, right? I need to get in better shape. That's true, right? I'm investing in things to slowly but surely, because I didn't get out of shape overnight. I'm not going to get in shape overnight, right? So slowly but surely, making investments to get to where I need to be. If you say, hey, bro, I tighten up. Hey, bro, you don't need to eat that. Hey, bro, you need to do this, do that, right? It's true. Me saying, me cussing you out don't make it any less true. Me blocking you don't make it any less true, right? But the same is true both ways, though. If you say you want to make more money, the truth is the truth. You're going to have to lock in, right? Now, of course, the more money you got, and I believe this is where the saying comes from, that it takes money to make money, right? Most people not dogs. If you a dog, you can make money with no money. If you not dog, you need to live below your means and come with as much money as possible to your business. As much money as humanly possible to your business, right? Because you can afford a mentor, you can afford a team, you can afford the software, you can afford the advertising. Now, this stuff makes making money in business easier. So, in that regard, it takes money to make money for 90+% of people. right? If you are scared of pain, if you scared of being embarrassed, of losing money, of waiting a while to get your return back, yes, it take money to make money. Somebody said still scamming black folks. Drop the evidence right now. Darnell Lewis, drop the evidence. When I scammed you, what did you buy? How did I scam you? Expose me right now here on this live, or shut up and go back to bed because you poor, right? Because only poor people want to control. So now stand on business. Because now you talking to a real millionaire that don't need to please you in order to make money, right? That really own real estate, and the people that stay in my property don't know I do social media, don't care I do social media. They just like the houses they stay in, right? The daycare centers that I'm an equity owner in, I don't ever be in there. I don't change no diapers. I don't wipe no noses, right? People want affordable, safe childcare, and the state pay us crazy money, right? So go ahead, Darnell. Go ahead. Drop the evidence. Expose us, right? See, this is a great teaching point right here, too. Most of y'all will never be great because y'all scared of Darnell. Darnell a bum, right? He's a bum. You want to know how I know he a bum and I never meet him in real life? Is because if Darnell were running it up, he ain't had time to come talk about something he don't know nothing about. Only bums that have no motion, no traction, nothing going on in life, right? Them the only people that got the time and energy to come play with grown people. Man, real grown people ain't got time to play with you. Not when they really trying to reach their goals. Not when they really trying to reach the next level, right? How many of y'all got family members and friends that you love dearly? For sure, love them dearly, but you ain't had time to go visit them. You ain't had time to call them. You ain't had time to kick it with them in a while. It's still all love, right? It's still all love, right? But you just busy. Man, I'm trying to get out of debt. I'm trying to build a business. I'm trying to get financially free, right? People you love, you ain't got time to kick it with because you grinding, right? So if you was gonna take anybody's opinion into consideration, it gonna be the people you love. It ain't gonna be Darnell. Every joker I know named Darnell is a hoe. And they ain't even disrespectful. I mean, they are promiscuous gentlemen. Right? So every dude I know named Darnell, man, chase women, messes money up. And I got a friend of mine named Darnell, and I love him, right? That's still what he do, right? So bad to it though, right? But in anybody here, right? If you afraid of what the Darnells of the world would say, right? Sometimes Darnell is a stranger on the internet that has no life. So they wake up Sunday morning and wanna try a real one because they've been fake their whole life. Nobody in their real life care what they gotta say. So it make them feel like they important when they can come on the internet and say something because it's the only place they got a voice, right? They ain't getting no money. They ain't got no employees that listen to them. Their kids don't listen to them. Their old lady don't respect them. Their parents don't care what they talking about, right? So the only place Darnell can feel empowered, man, let me go on the internet. Let me try to say what I gotta say, right? Let me say what I gotta say, right? And see if I can make somebody laugh. See if I can make somebody mad. Cause don't nobody care about Darnell. And Darnell, hey, we love you, Darnell, man. We love you, Darnell. You ain't gotta show out though. Don't show out for attention, Darnell. You too grown for that. Man, just come here, man. Man, do like mama, grandma taught us, man. Man, sit down, shut up, man. Learn something. Sit down, shut up. Yeah, man, put it in the chat. I see that. Don't be like Darnell. Don't be like Darnell. Hey, God bless him, but don't be like him. Man, put it in the chat, man. Don't be like Darnell. Come on. We gotta do better than that. I know we can do better than that. Come on, Darnell. All the stuff you could be doing. It's Sunday morning, Darnell. You could go to church. Go to church for me, Darnell. Go praise the Lord, man. Check your spirit. Get your spirit together. Go for a walk, man. Do all the things I wish I could be doing if I wasn't traveling today. Man, live for me, Darnell. But don't come playing with grown people, man. Grown people get mad when you play with them, Darnell. Cause you know why? Cause they got bills at their house. And they got dreams. And they got callings on their life. And man, ain't nobody got time to play with Darnell. Darnell, you need some friends, man. Man, Darnell, go to Tinder. Go to Christian Mingle if you a believer. Go to Match.com. Man, go find somebody to befriend you, Darnell. Cause man, over here, we busy trying to get money. And we ain't got time to play with Darnell. We ain't got time. We ain't got time. Right? So, okay. Back to it though. Right? So, once we identify, okay, look. If I don't have much money, I got to start a service-based business. And we're going to leave Darnell alone. Because we'll talk about Darnell the rest of the stream. Darnell, hey, well, you done started some ish with some real ish starters, Darnell. Watch your mouth. Right? So, anyway, though, if you have a small amount of money, which I did when I first became an entrepreneur, I got to start a service-based business. I got to start a service-based business. Why? Because a service-based business is something I can do quickly. All right? Service-based business is an independent courier. I can take my personal vehicle or a commercial piece of equipment that I rent or that I own or can afford to buy. Right? Don't buy nothing to start any service-based business without demand. Oftentimes, people that don't know business, I'm talking about myself when I first started out, what we'll do is we'll say, I got this great idea. I told my family members, I told my friends about it. They agree that it's amazing as well, right? And you know what? I am going to start this business. And then they start the business and they excited about it. And then crickets. Everybody here knows what Google is. Or you should, because Google owns YouTube and you own YouTube if you're seeing this, right? So, Google released data, this is years ago, and then some of the biggest companies in the world process that data into like simple, marketable, like strategy, right? So, I'm telling you that so you know where this statement I'm about to say comes from, right? So, according to Google, which knows everything about what you Google, everything about your YouTube search history, and it owns other companies as well, right? It says that if you want to insure, because there's a lot of businesses, right? If you want to ensure that you're going to make six figures, businesses on average that have at least one product, right? Whether that's a service you offer or a physical product or a group of things in a package you put together that's $2,000 or greater, have the highest likelihood of making six figures. So when I tell you that you need to sell something for $2,000 or more, it's not like JT like the number 2,000, so I pulled it out of thin air. Now, you can have it for $5,000, $10,000, $20,000, it don't matter. But that's why $2,000, if your goal is to make six figures a year, you need to sell at least one thing. Don't got to be the only thing. You can have some $10 stuff, some $50 stuff, some $500 stuff, a few $2,000 or greater things, right? So it's not saying that's the only thing that you sell, but the data says that you need to sell at least one product, right? That's $2,000 or greater, because when Google was looking at all of the businesses and all of the analytics that they have, is like all in the world almost, right? They saw that businesses that had at least one product that was $2,000 or greater drastically out-earn other businesses, and you were most likely make at least six figures a year, which is why I tell everybody, you should have at least a service or a product or a compilation of things that you do that can total up to at least $2,000 if your goal is to make six figures. Which is why when I run across people that are selling a bunch of $10 planners, $5 planners, $20 ebooks, $97 courses, and then they say, hey man, why I'm struggling to make consistent money, they don't even understand that all the data that already exists says that you're doing it wrong. That's one thing that you need to do, right? Secondly to that, they also had data on speed. So not just what businesses made the most money, they could also see what businesses made the most money in the shortest amount of time. So if you wanted to ensure that your product, your service, or whatever was going to sell out, then those businesses that offer pre-sales or had waiting lists or had some indicator of interest prior to sales drastically out-earn businesses that didn't. So for example, the magic number is 20x. Now, depending on your industry, it ranges. They'll say 5x to 20x, but to cover everybody here, I'm going to say 20x, right? Let's say that you had 5 mentorships that you were going to sell, and you were going to sell those mentorships for $20,000 a piece. You're only going to mentor 5 people a year. You're going to charge $20,000 to mentor them, and you're going to help them do whatever it is that you do, right? Now, some of you all might already discount this, but think about the job that you work now. Do you earn more than $20,000 a year? Yes. What if you were going to show somebody how to get a business that generates the same amount of money that you generate working your 9-to-5 job, right? So at Extra Lease, I worked in logistics as an operations manager, but I saw the ins and outs of how to lease and then operate a trailer leasing company. Typically now, if you start a trailer leasing company and you get any traction at all, either Premier Trailer Leasing or Extra Lease is going to buy you out for millions of dollars, right? So if you were building a business to sell and you were in the trucking, like I know there's a lot of truck drivers, right? And they were looking for like, man, I'm making good money now, but what's a business that I could build on the side to sell, or I could build in conjunction with being a trucker, right? If you slowly but surely started investing your money and having, maybe you got one flatbed, then you got a dry van, then you got a reefer. The reefer gonna cost a little bit more money, right? We know. Then okay, I'm gonna get a gooseneck, I'm gonna get this, I'm gonna get that. And you slowly start building up little things that you rent out to other drivers, and then that scales up over time, right? Once you hit scale, meaning that the business can run without you, it's consistently profitable, Premier Trailer Leasing or Extra Lease is gonna buy it from you, right? It's just whoever finds out about you first and you doing legit business, right? So what if I, instead of becoming an independent courier, what if I, at that time, said, okay, I'm going to target truck drivers that are already making at least $200,000 a year, right? I don't want brand new truck drivers. They can't afford no $20,000 offer. They can't even afford to execute on what I'm going to tell them they need to do anyway. But if they making at least $200,000 or more a year as a driver, they could be a team's driver, right? Maybe that's some friends, maybe that's a husband and wife, whatever it is, right? I'm going to show them how to run a successful trailer leasing company. Well, what qualifies me to do that? Well, I've been working in trailer leasing for a year. I got employee of the month, my very first month here. On average, right? Well, I would have got fired if I did this. On a bad week, we generated $22,000 a week in sales. They really want us to be in the $30,000 to $40,000 range. That's weekly, not monthly, not annually, every week, right? So if I said, okay, I'm going to show you how to net $5,000 a week when we were netting $20,000 a week, right? Is that still unheard of? One-time payment of $20,000. I never did this business. I'm just walking you through how you can take what you know from your job and create a premium value offer. Because sometimes people be like, I ain't made 6 figures yet. I ain't made $1 million yet. I can't help nobody do it. How many people in trucking do not know that they can build a business, right, and sell it for multiple millions of dollars just by starting a trailer leasing business, right? And not only could I show them how to start the business, guess what? I could also sell them the trailers. Because extra, after so many years and so many miles on the trailer, they going to take the tax write-off. They going to depreciate them down so they can get the maximum deductions. Then it's like, okay, we can't get no more deductions. Well, all the deductions is on the new ones, right? Extra lease at the time that I was working there. I've been gone for a while now. But at the time that I was there, Extra Lease was the only company in Berkshire Hathaway's portfolio that never operated at a loss. Every year that he owned it, it was in the green, right? Every year that he owned it, it was in the green. So do you think that if I was able to help somebody say, okay, look, I've been trained by Berkshire Hathaway, not Warren Buffett itself, right? But the system that he uses as it pertains to trailer leasing and trailer leasing operations. This business has never not been profitable in the X amount of years Warren Buffett has owned it in his portfolio company, right? I'm going to show you how to start the business. I'll also be the one that can provide you with your first drive-in, your first flatbed. Oh, you need contractors to work on it? Guess what my job is? To find contractors, get the best price, and have them do the work. And oh, by the way, we net 30. So guess what? I'm going to get you some contractors that's cool with fixing the trailer today and getting paid net 30. Why? Because that's what they're doing for us. So now you can start making money off of the trailer day one. And if the trailer breaks down, instead of you traditional trucking, how does it go? Your truck break down, you go to the truck mechanic, you pay him, he fix it, you back on the road. What if you went to the truck mechanic, he fixed it, gave you the truck back, and you had 30 business days to come back and pay the money that you owe, right? Depending on your business, you could have made that money times X over the next, usually 45 regular days, but over the 30 business days, right? Do you guys understand how your only limitation is your imagination? How that's a business I never created, but I could go back in my mind, and because I'm entrepreneurially minded, say, this is a business. And you know what? How would I get my early customers? The companies would send the drivers to come pick up the trailers from the yard. Now, we know that there are some company drivers. Some of them are contractors. They own the rig. They don't own the trailer. So they'll go contract with a company. They own the rig. They don't own the freight or the trailer, right? And my uncle's been doing this over 30 years. So because I was the one providing them the paperwork for the trailer as the operations manager, right? Guess what I could have said? Hey, how you doing today, sir? Hey, how you doing today, ma'am? Oh, you getting trailer ABC1? Okay, cool. Give me 1 second. I'm going to print it out for you, and in your folder, you gone. Oh, by the way, are you an owner operator or are you a company driver? Right? We got to wait a few minutes anyway for me to print out these papers, right? It's so many trailers going out, I'm not about to print out an infinite number of paper and sit it on the desk and hope you show up, right? Because usually they give us a time window, or we'll get it between the 1st and the 6th. Okay, cool. But when y'all get here, I'll print it off, I'll give it to the driver, he gone, right? So it had built-in customers. How many of you all work for an organization right now that has built-in customers you just never thought about it, right? Built-in customers you never thought about it. You work at the car dealership, you know people coming to go buy them cars so that way they can lease them out on Turo, or they can start a luxury black truck business, right? And you not once said, hey man, leasing it is cool, but you ever thought about having a sales department too, where you buy some of these vehicles and you just sell them as well as an additional revenue stream? It's not too far away from what you're doing already, right? How many of you all know somebody working at Walmart and they ain't not once, they work as a cashier, they've been seeing people buy products every day for years. They've been stocking products on the shelf every day for years. They ain't never recognized the pattern of like, man, you know what? We sure do get a whole lot of this coming in. I remember stocking that a lot. I remember, selling that a lot at the register. I wonder if I can go online and figure out how to make that. Shout out to my people in Charleston, South Carolina. There's a company in Charleston, South Carolina that helps you put your products in stores, right? Costco's, Target, Walmart, right? Beautiful black couple. I think they moved from New York down to Charleston, semi-retired. They got their seasonings and sauces in stores nationwide, and they help other businesses. I think they branched out now. They don't just do food items. They do whatever it is, right? Whatever product you got, you want it in stores, they got you, right? Now, how many people work in environments where they don't even think that's possible, which is by design in a lot of big companies, right? I don't need all my workers leaving to become entrepreneurs. Even in my business, I got 5 workers, employees. I got more contractors, but I got 5 full-time employees that work exclusively for me. If all of them became entrepreneurs today and left the company, it would hurt, right? I would understand. I would have to go rehire some new people. But, of course, the company wants you to stay like this. The company don't want you to think about, hey, man, you know what? Even though I've been in Walmart for the last 8 years, man, we sell a whole lot of this. I'm always stocking this, truck always coming in for this. Man, I'm always checking people out that's buying this. I wonder if there's a way that I can make my own. Check this out, right? When I left Berkshire Hathaway, I knew that if I could make at least 20 grand a week for them, right? Make at least 80 to 100 grand a month for them and get fired because we're not profitable enough. Man, what if I made 10% of that for me? What if instead of 80 to 100 grand working for the company, generating them that much revenue, what if I worked for myself and I only made 8 to 10,000? That was the beauty of Berkshire. Most of you all have no idea what your value is to the company. And then you let the people around you devalue you. Check this out, right? There are direct and indirect expenses in business, right? If a business doesn't make at least 5x what you cost them in total compensation, not just your paycheck, right? We can use your paycheck to do easy math, but the number's higher than that because if you get a paycheck, if you get benefits, if you get paid time off, if you get 401k contributions, you got insurance, right? All of these other things. If they got to provide you with a desk, if they got to provide you with a vehicle, they got to provide you with whatever else you need to do the job. All of that costs money. But let's say for easy math, you work a job that only pays you $2,000 a month. That's all you get. 2 bands a month, right? Well, all the data says that if the company don't make $10,000 off of you, that company will go out of business. It's not an if, it's a when. It's not an if, it's a when, right? Either they're going to go out of business, they're going to fire you and hire somebody that's cheaper so that way they can stay in business, right? Or they got to increase their profitability. So those are their only 3 options. Go out of business, fire you and hire somebody that will work for less, right? Or they got to increase their profit margins because a business has more expenses than just the employee. Now, biggest companies in the world, they don't want to play anywhere near safe. So they want 15, 20, 25 times greater. A lot of these tech companies is making 50 to 100x annually per employee, right? And these real big companies, right? Think of the OpenAIs, the NVIDIAs, the you name it, right? These big major companies that we hear about. Not all of them, not every employee, right? But they're going to be profitable, all right? So now let's apply it to you. I'm not going to ask you to share it in the chat. You know how much you get paid per month working your job. You can estimate better than I can how much money you think they spend in the whatever else they got to provide to you. Uniform, shirts, health benefits, paid time off. Put a dollar amount on that. Get that total number, right? And if they're a small mom and pop business, they're probably going to be somewhere between 5 and 15x that number, right? If your company is a company that is on the New York Stock Exchange, that number is probably 20, 50, 100x. Or if the company that you work for is owned by a company that is on the New York Stock Exchange, that number probably 20, 50x greater, right? Even the janitor. So even if you work a job that you feel like is not that important, even if you a cashier, even if you a stocker, right? So people want to transact in what they feel to be a pleasant environment. So if they don't hire a janitor, who gonna do the cleaning, right? There has to be a way to take the money. So of course I know a lot of stuff is going to self-checkout, but you still got people monitoring it because people are trying to steal, right? People will scan a Kool-Aid package and then walk out with a TV, right? So we know not everybody on the up and up, all right? So factor in that, and then I want you today to write down on a sticky note or on a sheet of paper and put it on your dashboard, put it on your mirror. I don't care if you got to thumbtack it to your wall, right? I want you to write the statement. I am generating, whatever the answer to that problem is, I am generating X amount of dollars a month for the name of the company that you're working for, right? So if I worked at Walmart and I made $2,000 a month, right? I would say that they making at least 20x off of me, right? So that's 40,000. So I would say my name is JT and I am making $40,000 a month for Walmart, right? Underneath that, I would put why. Just why, question mark. If you want to go deeper, you could put, I am making $40,000 a month for Walmart. I am making whatever you making for yourself, and then put why, right? Why? And put that somewhere where you're going to see it every day. That's what I'm saying. Put it on your dash. Put it on your mirror. Thumbtack it to the wall somewhere where you're going to see it every day, right? And ask yourself, why is this okay? Why is this okay? Because you don't have the money? So you mean to tell me you're not willing to downgrade your lifestyle, go from full coverage to liability coverage on the car, go from Verizon to Boost Mobile, go from going out to eat to eating Uncle Ben's rice and chicken breast and whatever vegetable you like, broccoli, right? Every day, all day, twice on Sunday for a short window of time. I became an entrepreneur in 2014, right? By 2017, I was homeless. By 2019, I made my first $1 million. Let's look at that window. 2014 to 2019, roughly 5 years. Wasn't exact like that, but let's just call it 5 years, from 14 to 19, right? It is now 2026. if I was never willing to go through the lessons, the sacrifices, the making money, losing money, making it again, which increased, right, my mental toughness. Anybody here ever been in the military before or did any kind of martial arts and you familiar with the term body hardening? Anybody went to a country school where we used to have a game called Bloody Knuckles and you would play it with your friends, right? So that body hardening, right, is what you need to go through in entrepreneurship. For anybody that doesn't know, right, body hardening is the concept of like inducing gradual trauma to a certain body part, and then your body will produce calcium deposits, right? And then it'll become harder. So if you ever seen a boxer's knuckles and like their knuckles is huge, and then people that don't fight because we know how to run and call for help have very little knuckles, right? In comparison to boxers, all right? It's because we haven't constantly been like hitting things, right? Now over time, if anybody does it consistently, your knuckles will get big. But that's true for any part of your body. In the military, you will see a lot of people that were in like McMap, the Marine Corps Martial Arts Program. All right, the front of their shins will be like black. Black is my hat, right? Now they could be light skinned as Drake, but they'll have very dark shins, right? And that comes from like kicking trees, because the same thing will happen. Your body will build up calcium deposits to protect the bone and the other important parts of the body. So you'll have like a very hard shin, right? So one of my staff NCOs, right, could literally kick down, not no big old oak tree, but like a regular, like a tree that your mom planted in the yard, right? So let's say the tree is like, can fit in here, like if you could put your hands together and wrap around a tree and it was that size or smaller, he could kick through that tree. Maybe not the first kick, he would just keep kicking it, and he could literally kick through fully healthy tree, right? He would take canned milk and he would beat his shins with it, right? And then if he had a way that he could keep it stationary, he could kick through canned goods, right? So the big canned goods you get from Sam's Club or Costco's or BJ's or whatever, right? He would mount it up and he would punch it and he would kick it, right? It'll be very messy, but he would clean it up afterwards, all right? And that's called body hardening, right? Reason why you do that is because if you're in a fight, at least in the military, what they teach you, the goal of a fight is get out of the fight as fast as possible. Now in the movies, a fight scene is like what makes everybody remember the movie. It's cool, it's happy, it's funny. So you want a big, long, 10-minute fight, right? In reality, the longer you fight, the higher probability that you could get hurt. You can get fatigued, they can pull out a weapon, somebody else can show up to help them, right? So in the military or in a real fight, the goal of the fight is not an exhibition. The goal of the fight is to disable the person as fast as possible so they don't harm you, and then you can go get away to safety, right? Before reinforcements come or before they hurt you. All right, so all of that being said, that's why body hardening is important, right? Because if a regular person was to punch you in the face, it'll hurt, right? I don't care if they're a teenager. Regular person punch you in the face, you'll feel something, right? But if somebody that's been beating on trees every day, all day, for years, punches you in the face, your face not made out of nothing strong enough for it not to break, right? Nobody's face is, right? So the fight is gonna last way less if you fight somebody that's body hardening versus somebody that never has done or is not even familiar with the term body hardening. Why do I go down that rabbit hole? I want you to understand, entrepreneurially speaking, there has to be a body hardening process. You gotta go through something that's uncomfortable. Kicking a tree hurt. Punching a tree hurt. Right? At basic training in the Marine Corps, you don't punch on trees and cans, you punch on each other. Right? Literally, you stand in a position and somebody punches you. Right? Not in the face. At least that's what they say. Now, there are times you fight in basic training and then you can fight anywhere. Right? But when you're doing body hardening, they not punching you in the face. Right? But they punching you in the arm, in the legs, in the stomach. Right? I'm only talking about Marine Corps basic training, Parris Island, South Carolina, when I went. I don't know about nothing else. Right? Here's the value for you. What body hardening process have you went through? Entrepreneurially speaking. If you haven't went through any body hardening process, right, as soon as there's a little bit of pain, you stop. Right? Without body hardening, the first time you hit a tree as hard as you can, not pull your punches, you can pull punches and hit the tree all day. It's not going to help you though. But the first time you punch that tree as hard as you can, oh, you done at the one punch. Right? You don't want to do that again. That hurt bad. Right? And entrepreneurially speaking, inevitably there's going to be issues. Right? Not because your mentor lied, not because God don't love you. It's just life. Rich people sometimes have problems. Poor people sometimes have problems. Middle class people sometimes have problems. So you starting a business is not going to magically erase all problems from your life forever. Right? So you got to go through that body hardening process. So from 2014, when I decided I was going to be an entrepreneur, till 2019, when I made my first $1 million. Right? Took me 5 years to make the first $1 million. Right? It took less than 2 to make the next $1 million. Took less than 1 to make the next $1 million. Right? Why though? Alright? And now we're building something new behind the scenes. I can't wait to share with you all that I believe is going to help us condense it down to like the shortest time frame ever to go from 0 to $1 million. Right? It's going to probably take us to around the top of the year to get everything right, because I'm trying to do it right, not fast. But I'm expecting this thing to take off really, really fast. Right? Day one is already doing 50 grand a month. 50 grand a month is not $1 million, it's only 600,000. So it's already at 50 grand a month, and we not even, where we want to be with it yet. All right. But all of that to say this is that some of you all run away from the body hardening, and that's why you won't be successful. The benefits of body hardening is when you do have those times where now you're trying, right? Your toughness is tested. Not only do you successfully overcome those times, it doesn't take you as long to go through those times or to recover. Right? Right now, if you were to say, okay, I'm going to save up, I don't know, $20,000. $20,000 might take years, right? If you say I can save 300, 500, even if you're doing $1,000 a month, it'll take you years, right? Without body hardening. All right? Once you, entrepreneurially speaking, body harden your business, body harden your mind, right? You might say, look, I'm gonna make 20,000 in the next 30 days. What used to take me years to do, now my business is so tough, it's trained so well, it's so prepared that now, man, we can do this way faster, right? I went from making videos talking about, man, six figures, right? My goal is never 6 figures in a year anymore, right? There was a time where I'm like, man, $100,000, that's a lot of money. And I'm not trying to sound condescending. to anybody that makes less than that. I'm just telling you the effects of body hardening in your business, right? Is the things that used to be impressive to you, right? So my gunnery sergeant kicking a tree ain't impressive. Punching a can ain't impressive, right? Like when you see people that can like chop through boards and punch through boards and kick through boards, like that's like child's play to him. Like he like, man, why y'all wasting a perfectly good 2x4 that could be used to build something? Go chop down a tree, right? Go punch the base of a tree, right? And he showed me a picture of a tree that was in his yard, and it looked like a beaver been eating on it, right? And he like, man, I've been kicking this tree for years. Now this was a thick tree, right? He like, man, I've been kicking this tree for years, and I'm gonna kick it until it falls, right? Years of doing the same thing over and over again. He was like, man, in the beginning it used to break the skin. My skin don't break no more. I don't bleed no more when I hit it, right? I used to could only go this long. Now I can go way longer. I used to couldn't walk afterwards. Now I can do it and I can walk, right? He's built up that muscle. Not telling you to go start kicking trees. But what I'm telling you is in your business, body hardening looks like when there is a time that we're tested, we're able to weather that test. And we are not only able to weather it, we get through it quicker. We get through it quicker, right? Some of you all are just running away from everything that's designed to harden your body, to make it easy for you the next time you test it, to prepare you for the inevitable level of success. I'm gonna tell you right now, how you gonna want to be a millionaire and having 6 figures worth of bills a year scare you? The people that I know that do 8 figures a year, $10 million or more a year, have 6-figure monthly bills. Their bills per month are 6 figures. They make 8 figures a year, 10 million plus, but their bills every month is 6 figures, right? Some pay $400,000 a month, some pay $600,000 a month, some pay $200,000 a month, depending on their business. Do you think that they started making $10 million plus a year, then they started paying $100,000 a month in expenses? Or do you think that the expenses is what got them there? Talk to me, chat. This is a learning moment. Do you think that they bills was $1,500, $2,000 a month, all the way up until they started making $10 million a year, then started having 6 figures a month bills? Or do you think that the investment that they made in themselves grew month after month, and now the yield, right? Because there's laws of sowing. You reap what you sow. You reap where you sow. You reap more than you sow, but you reap after you sow. See, there's this belief that a lot of people have erroneously that, you know what, I'll spend money like that too if I had it. I can't stand a if I had your money type of person. Oh, if you want to end the conversation with me on the phone, in the text message, in person, oh, all you gotta do is say if I had your kind of money. Man, I hate talking to if I had your kind of money person, right? Because it's disrespectful to people that really got the money. You think I'm doing this because I got the money. You don't know that I had to do this to get the money. Oh, if I had your money, I would stay here. I would go there. I would do this, right? You ain't gonna never have the money because this is what it costs to get there, right? You scared to take on more responsibility. You scared to advertise your business, market your business. What if don't nobody buy nothing? You scared to invest in mentorship. What if they scam me? What if it don't work, right? So you never gonna get there. It ain't no, if I had your kind of money, right? Those are the people that I know, they gonna stay where they at for a very long time. I hope it's not forever, but for sure for a very long time. Don't be if I had a your kind of money person with nobody. I don't care if that person older than you. I don't care if that person played in the NBA or NFL. I don't care if that person hit the lottery, had a baby by Oprah, right? Got Oprah pregnant, right? Understand this. It's not a you make the money, now you can spend this much money a month. It's the seed that they sowed, right? You saying $10,000 a month is a lot of money to make. It's somebody that say, man, $10,000 a month is the seed that I'm sowing every month. They don't even worry about making $10,000. They worry about how can I spend $10,000 a month effectively enough, right? And you know the return on investment that give me a second. I almost said his name. Sometimes I get so excited. Here's the thing, right? Out of respect to people that I value, professionally, personally, whatever, right? I don't want to call their names. I call names in my personal life all the time. You can fact check me. But I don't expect everybody to be me. So I'm not gonna call his name. He's popping big time now on the internet. And then I'll call the name of somebody that y'all know and just tell y'all that story because it involves me, right? But there's somebody I know that's like, hey, we should be doing 8 to 12x on whatever we spend. So we try to spend as much money as possible. So would you be afraid to spend $10,000 a month, knowing that you expect to make 80 to 120 grand? And if your mindset is, what if I don't make it? You don't deserve to get to that level yet. God is not giving us the spirit of fear. That's what he said. So if you afraid of something, where you get that from? If God, and after this, verified in your Bible. You ain't got to read the JT Bible. Verified in your Bible. God said himself he ain't gave us the spirit of fear. So if you afraid to do something to further your well-being, help you in pursuit of your calling, the reason God put you here, right? To have the resources to do that at the highest level. If you afraid to do that, it ain't come from God. So who it came from? Right? It came from you or worse. So who you gonna listen to? You gonna listen to you or worse? Or you gonna listen to God? Let it be real. Let it be real. Right? Now, story that does involve me, right? When it comes to investing in yourself. You gotta understand that not only do you gotta invest in yourself financially, you can't afford to be no introvert unless you are a genius or you got a lot of money. Matter of fact, I'm gonna say and. All this, I'm an introvert, I don't really like to talk to people, well, stay po then. Stay po. It'll be all right. You ain't gotta make no money. Stay po. If you are not a genius, if you don't have a lot of capital, whether it's your money, credit, or whatever, to invest, you cannot afford to be an introvert because there's certain things that you can't buy. It's only relationships. I wanted Country Wayne. Does everybody here know who Country Wayne is? Drop the letter K in the chat if you know who I'm talking about. Does anybody here know who Country Wayne is? Drop a K in the chat if you do. Right? If not, I'll skip this story because it don't really matter if you don't know who he is. Right? Dang, one person know who he is? Okay, scratch that story, right? Anyway, though, the point of the matter is this. There's certain things that They only come from the relationship. You can't buy it. I don't care how much money you got. Trust me, I know. I'm speaking from first-hand experience, right? There's been people that I wanted to try to network with, and I couldn't, right? I couldn't. Now, it's 4 people here that know who he is, and he gets billions of views a month. So somebody lying. Somebody lying, right? Tell the truth, stay in the church, right? Ain't no way this man get billions of views every month and a handful of people know who he is here, right? Y'all ain't gotta stroke my ego. Y'all ain't gotta brush my hair and tell me I'm cute in the mirror, right? My mama did that when I was a little bitty boy, right? But what you're not gonna do is make no cornbread and tell me it's a biscuit. I know the difference, right? I know the difference. All right, different audience. It very well might be. It very well might be, right? So I'll tell a different story then, right? So, do y'all know who Tyler Perry is? I got a Tyler Perry story. I got a Country Wayne story, right? So Tyler Perry, Madea is like the most famous character he's known for. Y'all know who Madea is? Maybe I should say it like that. So years ago, I decided that I wanted to be in the media business for the rest of my life because media controls how people think, right? The Weather Channel determines how you dress. If they say it's a blizzard coming through, then you probably not gonna wear shorts and a tank top that day, right? If the news says, hey man, there's been 300 murders in the last week in Chicago, you're probably not gonna want to plan your vacation to Chicago, right? You might plan it to go to Miami, Hawaii, somewhere where you have family, friends, somewhere where you think it's safe and nice, right? So all of that to say is I discovered a long time ago that that in media, it controls how people think. And my daughter, even when she was young, she would start saying stuff that she heard on SpongeBob or saw on her tablet or saw in a cartoon. And I realized that if I don't pour into her, somebody else will. Now, I can't assume that somebody else will have the same best interests for my daughter as me. So that's why I'm not telling you how to parent. I'm just telling you guys my truth. I'm not a because I said so parent. Because if I don't explain things to my children, to my daughter at the time, right, I know that the media will. The media say, you should do this for this reason. You should do that for that reason. And it may not be positive. It may not be in line with what I want her to know, to learn, to be as a good person, as an ethical person, as a moral person, as a legal person, right? So that being said, I said, look, man, I got to be on this media side. And I wrote a gang of children books in that time. If you go to Amazon.com and type in JT Hustle's children's book or JT Hustle's book, you'll see I got several books on Amazon. Most of them are children's books. All of them are available in audio books. It is an audiobook bedtime series called the Kid King Solomon Bedtime Stories, right? So what I would do, what anybody could do, right, is play those stories, right? Now, of course, it's a fiction. It's taking the name Solomon from the Bible, but it's not literal, right? It's not really a story about that, but it's just saying every story, right? Every story teaches something. So it might be like Solomon learns Mandarin, Solomon learns math, Solomon learns to fish, all positive stuff. Because if my daughter is going to consume whatever else, music, cartoons, movies that the media puts out there, she going to also consume some positivity, right? Yes, I'm there. I'm in her life. I'm talking to her. I'm spending time with her. But let's be real. How many of us have young people in our household, but they spend more time in front of a screen than they do talking to you? That's just the reality of the times that we in, right? So gotta call a spade a spade. I can't depend on, well, you in the house with me, you talking with me, that should be enough, when I know the majority of your attention is in a screen. So I'm gonna go to where you at, right? My daughter don't even know, bigger than learning AI to make money and all the other great stuff that I know we will do in time, man, I'm trying to slowly figure out, it keep changing. I'm gonna figure out what kind of shows she like to watch. I'm gonna make a whole series of stories that's perfectly in line with what she like. And I'm gonna have that girl addicted to watching me without even knowing it's me. Right? I'm one of them kind of daddies. Like, girl, I'm gonna be where you at, whether you know I'm there or not. Alright? So, that being said, I became obsessed with media. It controls how kids, grown people, everybody in between thinks. So, I said, who's doing it the best? At the time, all I knew about was Tyler Perry, right? So I didn't know about all the other people that's killing it in media now that looks like me, right? So, man, I knew about what's the brother name that owned the news station, the news channel. Man, I can see his face. I can't call his name. And it was crazy. I got an autographed picture of him on the 3rd floor of my house, right next to my art gallery, and I can't call his name. But who's the gentleman that owned the news station? Y'all help me out, right? He's killing it. Tyler Perry's killing it. Country Wayne is killing it. Many, many other African-American men are killing it in media. But at the time, it was Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry had Tyler Perry Studios in Atlanta. I was going to Atlanta all the time, hanging out with my brother. Casino is the name. Networking with other people from Atlanta as well, right? Nehemiah Davis, a lot of the people that he introduced me to down that way, a lot of other people that I just met in Atlanta doing business as well, right? So, all of that being said, I said, man, listen, I want to learn media from somebody that's doing media at the highest level. It's Tyler Perry, right? I knew that Tyler Perry was a car guy because my mom kicked me out of her house, not my house. What am I talking about? My mom kicked me out of her house when I was in high school. I had to go live with my older brother. My older brother stayed in townhouses in a place called Gastonia, North Carolina. Right next door to us stayed the guy that played in one of Tyler Perry's early plays. I forget my man's name. Y'all remember there was a Tyler Perry play where the guy was really, really mean to the woman, and then he ended up getting into a car accident and he was in a wheelchair. And then once he was in the wheelchair, the lady started living life, dating other men, whatever. And then plot twist, near the end of the play, the guy stand up and start walking. And he apologized for how he treated her, then he leave, right? That guy, Byron Allen, is the guy that owns the news station. You're exactly right, right? So yeah, I forget my man's name that was in the play, but he was famously hated by his own account, right? He was a good guy, but he played the role so good, people hated him in real life, right? And he was really a cool guy. And he stayed literally next door. He was the next door neighbor of my brother, and he stayed in townhouses in a place called Gastonia, North Carolina. And that's where I had to go live when my mama kicked me out the house, right, in high school. So staying with my older brother, loving it, right? My older brother chasing women, I'm chasing women. He always gone. I'm lying to high school girls, telling them that this place is my place. Now, I'm a 15, 16-year-old boy, and I got an apartment, and I'm in school all day with them, and then outside of school, I'm at the apartment all night with them. But they believed it because they was kids and they wanted to believe it. But it's my older brother apartment. I'm bringing girls through. I'm living the life, right? I see the guy is haying by, right? The guy start noticing I got a lot of traffic coming in and out, and he, was trying to give me some wisdom. I ain't gonna lie, giving me good advice. But he told me about Tyler Perry, tying it back to the story. This is how I know Tyler Perry is a car guy. He say, man, Tyler, even back then when he was doing plays, man, Tyler might show up with a Range Rover one day, show up with a Bentley the next day. Like, man, Tyler used to say, man, he gonna always have the latest whatever, right? Now, maybe there's a YouTube video out showing this now. I don't know. I never searched for it. But what I know just from people that was around him personally, Tyler Perry, a big-time car guy, right? He loved latest and greatest cars. He gonna spend whatever on them, right? That's just, and he make enough money he can, right? So I was like, okay, fast forward, right? Now I'm back in the media. I know Tyler Perry, a car guy. I'm not the richest guy in the world, but $250,000 I'll spend for 30 minutes with Tyler Perry. Now, at the time, I could get a car. Aston Martin, 20. I said, man, I could cash out on an Aston Martin, and then I can. But how I'm gonna get it to him though? Even if I get him the Aston Martin, how I'm gonna get it to him, right? I'm talking to Casino, right? Casino is the name of his YouTube channel. Talking to people in Atlanta, studio, anybody, Tyler Perry Studios. When I showed him the car, I was like, I'm gonna buy this cash. I want you to give it to him with the title, and I want you to FaceTime me when you give it to him. So FaceTime me, give him the car, give him the keys, the title, and then give him the phone. I'ma holler at him, and I was even gonna give the person, like, I was like, man, I'll give you $40,000 just to do it. Just drive the Aston to Tyler Perry Studios, give him the title and the keys and your phone, and I give you $40,000 after work, right? All in, I'd have been at like 260. But I was like, man, not even worried about the money. I'm telling y'all why there's certain things you can't buy, right? I said, man, $260,000. I give him a brand new Aston Martin 220, and I'm gonna get a man just to do it, cause he was like, I don't know, like he seemed cool, but what if I get fired? What if this, that, bro? I give you 40 grand. So even if I fire you, you got enough money to float yourself over till you can get another job. So he was like, man, so I'm still scared to do it, but 40 grand, like, but then as we was planning it out, Tyler Perry's a tall man, right? I'm 5'8". I'm not tall by anybody's measurements, right? They in the Aston Martin. I don't know if y'all are familiar with Aston Martins. Aston Martin's not made for tall people, right? And unless you got the Lamborghini Urus, most of those foreign cars, a lot of people over there not very tall. So the Aston Martin was nice, but they was like, man, I don't even know if you're gonna fit in it. Like, man, what you mean? It's like, bro, Tyler tall, bro. Like, I mean, even if he liked the car, he gonna look like a clown in it, because it was a two-seater. It was a two-seater Aston Martin, right? They were like, man, bro, I don't know, bro. Like, I ain't want you to do it, and you pay $260 all in, and don't. So I was like, okay, bump it, man. I got frustrated. I said, man, put the word out. I give $250,000 to Tyler Perry for 30 minutes, and I give $10,000 to whoever, like, get the word to him and make it happen, right? But now I'm mad. Now I'm in my feelings, right? All I need somebody to do is tell him, and if he say yeah, right, FaceTime me 30 minutes. I give him $250. I give you 10 just for sitting there, right? When I tell you that it never happened, right? Now, in hindsight, I didn't know how rich Tyler Perry. I knew he was rich, but I ain't knew billionaire rich, right? I was like, man, he got a lot of money. But $250,000 cash, who not gonna talk to me for 30 minutes on a FaceTime call? Like, let's be real. With anybody here, right? $250,000 cash, 30-minute FaceTime call. Would you talk to your worst enemy for 30 minutes for $250,000 on FaceTime? They not coming to your house. They not coming to your business. They just want 30 minutes of your time. And the only rules is you got to tell them the truth. It don't got to be what they want to hear, but 30 minutes, they want to talk to you. And as long as you truthful, that's it, right? Like, I valued whatever he was going to say to be worth at least 10 times that, right? So I was like, man, he going to give me millions of dollars worth of information. I'm not going to waste his time. I don't got no bunch of questions. I got 3 questions, right? Man, boom, I got 30 minutes. I want to thank you. I want to say the car yours. It's bought with legal money. You don't owe me a dime for it. That's the title. That's the bill of sale. These the keys. It's your car. Have your people check it out. Make sure everything on the up and up. If you want to make sure that it's real, but this for you. And oh, man, I got 3 questions. If you could give me like a 1-minute answer for each one, that's all I need, right? Because I'm trying to figure out, how do you go? I know how to do a play. I can go rent out a theater. I could go write a script. With AI, I could write a script even better now than back when I could write it by myself. So, man, I could write a script. I could hire some people to come act in the play. But how you become Tyler Perry? You know what I'm saying? Right? So I need to ask strategic questions, not just, man, how you think of Madea? Man, how you make so much money? Man, how you do a play? Right? All of that stuff is wasting his time. I need to ask very specific questions to get very tactical answers, and I need to get off this phone and start going to work. And $250,000, I couldn't even find nobody that would make the introduction. It was people that was there, but nobody that was close enough to them that could make the introduction in a way that they was confident. Because I ain't gonna lie, I ain't no fool. I'm like, he got to take the call to give you 10,000. I can't just have y'all saying I asked him and then everybody get $10,000 and y'all finesse me. Like, he got to actually take the call, because I can't be there to know if you really did it or not. So if he take the call because of you, like, boom, you give him your phone, I know it's you, I got you, right? So that being said, boom, right? We in it, all right? $250,000 was not enough to be able to have a conversation with Tyler Perry. Now, hopefully one day, someday, it might be off camera, on camera. Like, I don't really care how it go, but one day I might do get my 30 minutes sit down with Tyler Perry just to talk business, right? But $250,000 ain't enough to buy 30 minutes of his time, right? So you can't afford to be introverted. The only thing, now there's probably people that work with Tyler Perry on a show or on whatever else he got going on that I don't know about, and they might talk to Tyler for hours and hours and hours, and then he paid them, right? They might be in a show, they might talk outside of the show, right, for hours and hours, and Tyler paid them whatever he paid them for working for him. And I can't go buy $250,000. I can't even buy 30 minutes of the man's time, right? That can only be done through relationships. And in your business, there's going to be certain things that going to be done that from the outside looking in, people going to be like, how you did that? How you know that person? How you was able to make this shape? Man, relationships more important than money. You hear me? Relationships are more important than money, right? One last story, then I'm be out the way. But I want to give something away to everybody that's here and watch this live stream this long. I'm coming from Miami, going back home to the Carolinas. Man, I appreciate y'all being on this journey with me, so Cousin JT ain't got to ride all the way back by himself, right? So, underneath this video is a link. And if you need $50,000 to $100,000 of business funding, I have created a complete guide to show you exactly how to do that. I stand by it, so much so that if you get the book, do what it says, and within 90 days don't have $50,000 to $100,000 of business funding, I'll give you your money back for the book. So if you only get 10,000, you only get 20,000, right? You only get 30,000, 40,000, $49,999.99. I give you all your money back for the book, and you still got the funding for your business. Now, other people in my space, when I told them I wanted to do this, they said, nah, bruh, man, how you know if they really gonna do this? That they gonna finesse you, they gonna get the funding, and they gonna get their money back, right? And I was like, man, listen, it might happen, it might not. But here's the thing. I'm not concerned with the finesses, right? I'm concerned with the people out there that genuinely want change, and they want an opportunity, and they tired of people on the internet giving them empty promises. Buy my course, you will do this. Buy my book, you will do that. And then it's all the same. And then they felt like the only person that benefited was the person that they gave the money to, right? So that being said, I said, you know what? I'ma stand by it. So click the link underneath this video right now, right? And get my book that's gonna show you how to get $50,000 to $100,000 worth of business funding in your business, right? And if you want the book for 75% off, read the description of the book, and we also have a path as to getting 75% off as well, right? Let me know if y'all can hear me okay. Drop a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. Drop a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. Drop a 0 in the chat if you can't hear me, right? So drop a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. Drop 0 in the chat if you can't. Okay, y'all can hear me. Okay, cool. All right, we good. So if you need $50,000 to $100,000 to start your business, to scale your business, to operate your business, and business funding, underneath this video, you click the link, right? And I have created a guide that'll show you how to get it within the next 90 days or less. Not saying you're gonna be making 0 and in 90 days you're gonna have $50,000. You're gonna be making money the whole time, and then by the time you look up in 90 days, you're gonna have $50,000 to $100,000 or access to it, because you might not need all the funding, right? Sometimes that funding is tempting. I know people that got $250,000 worth of funding and was like, shoot, how much they say that Aventador costs? How much that Lamborghini costs? They like, man, I could buy the Lamborghini cash, get the title for the Lamborghini Aventador, so make payments on the doggone credit thing, and shoot, man, stun on them. That's not mature, but I'm telling you, I know grown people, man, and they 40s, man, super grown. In they 40s, man, that'll be like, look, so, man, I'm thinking about it. Right? Luckily, all the people that told me that, I've been able to talk them off that cliff. But all of that to say that, man, sometimes having access to the money is too tempting. Do not spend a dime of funding if it's not invested. There's a difference between spending money and investing money. When you spend money, it's for fulfillment in the moment. When you invest money, it's an expectation of a future return. So I don't want you to spend the money, I want you to invest the money, right? Spending the money, right, is for enjoyment in the moment, right? That experience you about to have in that moment, right? You gonna spend money on food. You gonna spend money on clothes, right? After a while, them clothes just gonna be old clothes. That food gonna be like done passed through your system. It's time to eat again, right? But if you invest in a food trailer that can consistently sell food, now you got food to eat and you got food that can make you money. If you invest in having your own apparel brand, you got clothes to wear and you got apparel that can make you money time and time again, right? So, for sure, I don't want you to spend a dime of the money I'm gonna connect you in contact with, right? but I want you to invest as much of it as you need to reach your financial goals, right? We clear on the difference between spending and investing? Complete guide is underneath this video, right? Underneath this video. And for everybody that buys the book, right, the guide underneath this video before this live stream is over, right, put I'm in, and then I'm going to email you when I stop driving. I'm going to need to get gas here soon. I'm going to send you an email. Give me no later than tomorrow morning, because I don't know how many people going to see this, right? And go jump and buy the book. And like y'all see me driving, I'm be on the road for like 10 and a half hours, right? So I'm somewhere in between Miami and North Carolina when you're watching this, right? So give me some grace. I'm going to personally email you myself, because my team is off because it's Sunday. They'll be back at work on Monday. But anyway, anybody that, matter of fact, that buys the book today, I'll extend it out to the people, because if you watch the live stream this long, you deserve the opportunity, right? Just put I'm in the chat, or I'm in the comment section, right? Along with the email address attached to your order. And what I'll do is I'll screenshot it or I'll save it, and I'm gonna email you. We're gonna do a one-on-one this week, right? We'll do a one-on-one this week to talk about not the funding, because you're gonna already have the guide to the funding. I want to talk about what's the play to double, triple, quadruple, 8x the money once you get the money, right? So if you bought the book today during this live stream, all right, I see one person said it. They said I'm in. Post it again. Say I'm in and tell me the email address that you used, so that way I can email you as it is, right? Only for the people that buy it today. I'm in and your email address. I'll match the email address up with the order, because I'll see the email address when I see the order. Whenever that keep people from just saying I'm in, right? So I'm in, and then put your email address, and then I match that up with the order. Otherwise, it'll be a bunch of people up here lying. All right. So Country Wayne story, and then I'm gone. But go ahead and start dropping I'm in. You can leave and come out, and you can replay this version of this part of the video. We're at 1 minute, 1 hour, 30 minutes, and 35 seconds. And as soon as we get to 1 hour, 29 minutes on the nose, we're gonna start the Country Wayne story. So that way you can timestamp it. Come to 1 hour, 29 minutes on the nose for the Country Wayne story. And that's when we'll start it. So go ahead and hop out and then comment I'm in after you secure it, and you'll get a one-on-one to talk about what we're going to do with the money. Country Wayne story, here it is. Country Wayne was doing his first tour, right? I say his first tour because I don't know what tour he's on now, right? And he was hitting a lot of major cities, all right? This is my Country Wayne story. He came to Columbia, South Carolina, all right? My brother Travis Cooper got tickets, right? Meet and greet tickets to meet Country Wayne. He had 4 tickets, right? He shared one of the tickets with me, all right? I said, man, okay, well, if I'm going to go to Country Wayne's stand-up comedy show, and we got the meet and greet tickets, like, I gotta take advantage of this opportunity, right? You never know. You miss all of the shots you don't take, right? So I gotta see what happens, right? So I say, okay, I'ma bring $25,000 in cash with me, right? So I put on a blazer just so I could have the inside pocket, $25,000 right there. That's the only reason why I wore a blazer to a comedy show, right? So I'm in like jeans, sneakers, a t-shirt, and a blazer. I was fresh though. It came together nicely, right? Everybody that saw the picture, I got a bunch of likes. I was cute, right? Everything, you gotta imagine it. Might sound weird, but I pulled it together. It looked like it went together, right? And if you know, you know. Jeans, t-shirts, blazers, right? If you do it the right way, if you know, you know, right? So we sit in front row, right? Front row, and we got the meet and greet. He shut it down, right? Great show. man, got us laughing, start to finish, right? Hilarious. All right, from when he come out, playing that Young Dolph. Y'all know he gonna always play Young Dolph when he walk out, right? To preach. So from what he's saying, from when he walking out, all the way until he in, right? Man, crying, laughing. Country Wayne did a phenomenal job. Now it's time for the meet and greet. I'm intentionally trying to be the last person in line, because I'm like, I don't want to hold up the line, because I know he's going to have to push me through if I'm like middle of the line, first in line, because other people that he has to network with. So I'm like, man, I'm trying to be the last person in the line, because I want to offer him $1,000 a minute. I got $25,000 cash on him. If he want to go longer than that, I got to hit his Cash App, his Zelle, his Apple Pay. I don't know what he got, right? I don't know what he got. All right, it's the first link underneath this, K Young. If you don't see the offer, first link underneath this video, right? I say, man, I don't know what kind of payment processor the brother use. I don't care if he got to send me a Stripe invoice on the spot and I got to pay it for the balance. But I got $25K cash. And I'm trying to see if he'll give me at least 15 minutes, right? 15-minute interview. All right. So there's some ladies, it's probably like 2-3 ladies that refuse to let me get behind them. Now, imagine this. Now, we had a comedy show, and I'm trying to be in the back of the line. I ain't trying to cut you and get ahead of you. I'm saying, y'all go ahead, man. I want to be last. And he like, no, we gonna be last. Come on, baby. Go ahead, be. I'm trying to talk to him about something. We trying to talk to him about something too. I don't want to tell him I got $25,000. I'm trying to pay him $1,000 a minute, because it's a long line of people. I don't know who listening. You know what I mean? Like, we had a comedy show. It's all love and laughs, but you still never know. If somebody is like, bruh, got $25,000 cash on them, I don't know what they got in the parking lot, right? You know what I mean? So I ain't trying to say I got that much capital on me. So I'm saying, okay, ma'am, please just go ahead of me. No, sir, please go ahead of me. So I'm like, okay, these 2 ladies behind me, they just refuse. I done tried to tie my shoe. I done tried to say I gotta go to the bathroom. I done said, man, my leg hurt. I'm gonna sit down for a minute in this chair over here. Y'all go ahead. I can see the line. Once the line about over, I come back, get him a spot, right? Nothing worked. I finally get up. It's my turn, right? It's my turn. I done asked the guy that says opening act, because his opening act guy came through, shook everybody's hand, dapped people up, right, along the way, all right? So, man, I done asked that guy, I say, man, I want to ask you a question about Wayne. He say, what's up? I say, man, I want to give Wayne $1,000 a minute. And I want to interview him right now. He just finished the show. I know he got money. I don't know how much money he made tonight, but I want to give him $1,000 a minute to interview him right now. Like, my cousin, he'll hold the phone, right? We'll do an interview right here now. Man, I give him $1,000 a minute, and he can stop talking whenever he's tired of talking, right? But I got $25K on me cash, and then if he want to talk longer, I pay it on the spot, whatever the difference is, right? Man, he say, bro, I ain't gonna lie. Wayne ain't about to do nothing for $1,000 a minute. Like, I don't mean no disrespect, but without getting too much in his personal business, Wayne ain't about to do nothing for $1,000 a minute. I'm thinking, like, dude, like, come on now. $1,000 a minute? Like, I ain't trying to be disrespectful, but $1,000 a minute, talk to me, chat. Who y'all think wouldn't do an interview for $1,000 a minute, and you tell me how long the interview is? I can pay you $25K in cash. I could stay in here and we could get to the 25-minute mark. You could stop mid-sentence and say, hey, man, go ahead and Zelle me, Cash App me, Apple Pay me for another 20 minutes, and then I'll finish what I was about to say. Boom. Go ahead. All right, cool. Go ahead. Check your account. Check your phone. Keep talking. Right? Man, Country Wayne so nice. He gave me the nicest no I've ever gotten in life. Now, keep in mind, I never even made it to reach Tyler Perry. Man, Country Wayne gave me the nicest no I ever got in life, right? Man, Country Wayne say, it's no problem, brother. Just give your number to my brother, right? Because I came to him, dabbed him up. He had his book, right? Took a picture with his book. Boom. I said, hey, man, yo, Wayne, I love what you're doing. I'm a content creator. I do something totally different than what you do. I would love to interview you. I'm prepared to pay you $1,000 a minute right now. He said, all right, man, good. I'm trying to show him, like, I ain't trying to, like, you know, be on no weird stuff, like, yank it open. So I'm trying to flash the money, but he ain't looking. He like, all right, like, and I'm like I'm trying to show you I got 25,000. He don't know how much money it is, right? But I'm trying to show him how much money, or I got some money with me, all right? So I'm trying to show him the money. He ain't even looking. He facing the camera. Like, because they take a picture with his camera and with your phone. So you can go to the website and download your picture for free from his website. Or if you don't want to wait, they going to do it with your phone too. So it's two people taking a picture. Somebody with a professional camera, somebody else with your phone, if you want it both ways. Boom. All right. So it's still these two ladies behind me, right? And I'm talking fast. He like, man, just give your information to my brother right there, right? I say, man, okay, do I give you the money now? Like, I'm still trying to like show, bro, I'm not talking. Hey, do I just give you the money now and give him a number? After you see these two ladies, we gonna do it. Like, what's the price? He say, man, you ain't gotta pay for nothing. You good. You ain't gotta pay me, brother. Just go ahead, give your number to my brother, and yeah, that's it. Like, we'll contact you. Man, I gave my number to the brother. I say, you want to know my name? He say, nah, we good. I say, you want the money? I'm trying to get the money to Country Wayne brother. He say, bruh, we good. Like, I already know what that means, bruh. He put the number in the note app. He ain't even put it in his contact. He just put the number in the note app, and he said, all right, I got you, bruh. You good. I don't need your name. I don't need you. Don't give us no money. It was a very nice note, though. It wasn't mean in any way. Like, it was very pleasant. His brother was smiling and nice. Wayne was smiling and nice. Everybody was very, very nice. But the moral of the story is, man, I learned there's certain things in life that, man, is only gonna come from relationships, right? It was only coming from relationships. Like, I couldn't pay Tyler Perry $250,000 for 30 minutes of his time. I couldn't pay Country Wayne $1,000 a minute and have him tell me when he finished talking. Right? I was like, look, shoot. I'm knowing Tyler Perry done said no to $250. He just did a stand-up show. He got another show in a couple of days. Is he really gonna talk to me for 250 minutes? Probably not. Right? That would be 4 hours. He probably not gonna do a 4-hour long interview. So whatever he willing to talk, it's probably gonna be cheaper than the money I had set aside for this. Right? So that was my mindset, right? But all in all, I want you guys to take away from this story that networking is important, investing in yourself is important, but the biggest problem I have with y'all, and I say this in love, y'all keep quitting on y'allself. Y'all keep quitting on y'allself. It's so many of y'all, it didn't work in 30 days. It didn't work in 3 months. It didn't work in 6 months. I did business. I did media for 8 months for $0. And at the end of 8 months, I made $400 in month number 9. I was willing to work somewhere else to pay the bills while I focus on this one thing. And I didn't pivot, right? I didn't say, oh man, I did it for a month, it didn't work, let me stop. Oh, I did it for 6 months, it didn't work, let me stop. Oh, I did it for 8 months, 9 months, now I got $400. That was a waste of time, let's go do something else. I stuck with it. I did what I had to do until I could afford to do what I wanted to do. But how many of you all are not willing to say, I'm going to do what I got to do over here to pay my bills, but I'm still going to never give up. I'm going to show up every day consistently over here because this is really the life that I want. How many of you all, even if you say, I would never on this side of heaven give any man $1,000 a minute or $250,000 for 30 minutes, but I would want to have the extra money to know if I ever did that, I could do it and my lifestyle won't change a bit. Right? The first few digits of my bank account wouldn't even change. Right? How many of us will want to be in that position to say, look, even if you say I would never do that, I wouldn't give, they men just like me. They put their pants on one leg at a time just like me. I ain't never gonna give nobody that much money. Cool, right? I'm not saying that you have to ever give anybody $1,000 a minute or $250,000 30 minutes. I'm telling you, I tried to do it and it wasn't even enough. Not only was I willing to do it with the cash, it wasn't even enough money to do it. I still couldn't afford to buy a minute of Country Wayne's time. I couldn't buy a moment of Tyler Perry's. Right? So relationships matter. Consistency matters. Right? Man, ain't nothing wrong with working a 9-to-5 job to pay the bills and living below your means and taking all of the money you make and investing in your dreams. Stop listening to them people trying to tell you, oh man, it'll be safer to get a job. It'll be safer to just stay at this job. Why you gonna invest that much money in yourself? Why you gonna pay somebody that much money to coach you? Why you gonna pay that much money and put it in a website, put it in ads, put it in inventory, put it in hiring somebody, right? And you know for a fact, you wouldn't change lives with them people, right? The life that they living is not the life you want to live, and they could be doing better than you. They could have more money than you. Nicer car, bigger house, bigger bank account, but you still want more out of life than what they got now. But you taking advice from them, it don't even make sense, right? It don't even make sense. All right? They're like me asking somebody with no car, man, listen, man, what you think is the best car I should invest in? You think I should get a $1,500 car that's a little A to B beater, or should I go get this $250,000 Lamborghini? Man, I don't care what they got to say about getting a car. You don't have a car. I don't care what you know about cars. I don't care if you work on cars, detail cars, right? Man, you don't even have what I want to have in life. Right? Now, out of respect, I don't got to disrespect you. I can hear out your opinion. You may even have good information. But if I know for a fact that I don't want the life that you have now, even if your life better than mine, I am not going to make decisions solely based off what you told me. It don't make sense. Right? I'm not going to do that. Right? Why would I do that? I love my mama. You love your mama. Do mama got the life you wish you had, economically speaking? So, man, respect mama, honor mama. Mama might even have some good advice. But you will be a fool to take all your financial information strictly from mama. You could love her, you could respect her, you can honor her, you could take some advice from her, but she can't be the only one that's pouring into you financially speaking. Can't be. I need somebody that got what I want. And it ain't always materialistic, right? It could be the peace of mind that comes from this. It could be the quality of life. It could become personal development, right? Just the intangibles of life that are more valuable than the materialistic, right? It ain't got to necessarily be they got more money than you, so I'm gonna listen to them, right? Man, I want to be married one day. I don't care if you've been married 100 years. If you constantly beating on your spouse, they constantly beating on you, y'all constantly cheating on one another, just because y'all ain't filed for divorce yet, don't mean that I'm about to use you as my model as to how to get into and stay into a marriage, right? Y'all just don't feel like learning nobody else. You got used to cheating on each other, beating on each other. Y'all done accepted that. But I'd be a fool to say you my marriage counselor, to say you my mentor in relationships, right? And you, over the years, you might have did learn something about marriage. And you might can give me a nugget here or there. But you not gonna be the sole person I take advice from. Because I don't want the marriage that you got, right? I want a marriage I love without help, right? Going together spiritually, getting closer to Christ, raising the kids to be the same, right? We growing together with our finances, right? That's the kind of marriage I want. I want to find a couple that's been married for a long time that touch some M's together, that raise some kids together, that still believe in God, right? Still the church on Sundays, right? That's the kind of couple that I want to model. If I had to listen to just one couple, right? I want a couple that's not just in good shape together, not just raise kids together, not just in love, right? Not just making money and lots of it, but I want them to be everything I want. And of course, in the real world, that's not always possible. So I might can take a little bit from you, can take a little bit from there, and put it all together. You know, because relationships, just like business, it take consistent effort, right? Try to become that over and over again, right? So if you're an action taker and you're not scared of consistency, right? You're not scared to sow the seed into your long-term success, right? Take advantage of the opportunity. First link down in the description below. Then drop I'm in along with your email address. We're going to do a one-on-one. We're going to help map out what you're going to do with your 50 to 100,000. What you doing with it, right? And that if you need to work with me and my team to ensure that, we'll talk about what it looked like for you to join our mentorship program, for you to be in our inner circle program, but only if we can help you reach your goals, right? There's a gentleman, ain't no telling if he'll see this video or see this part of the video. There's a gentleman that I talked to recently that was interested in the mentorship program, but he couldn't tell me his goals. And I wouldn't allow him to join the mentorship program. He was like, man, the pricing not bad. I love everything you offering. I was like, okay, so tell me where you trying to go. By the end of the year, where you want to be. 5 years, where you want to be. 10 years, where you want to be. Like, I don't really know. I'm making good money now. I'm in New York. I don't really know, right? I don't really know where I want to be. Like, maybe move to Manhattan. You know, maybe teach this. Maybe have this going on, right? All great things. But malpractice is diagnosis before evaluation, right? I can't prescribe you a solution to a problem I'm unaware of, right? So I don't allow nobody, I don't care how much money you got, right? You're not even gonna just me and my team and waste our time. We got too much stuff going on if they just work with me, right? If they just work with my other mentees, all right? So if you need help with clarity, we can talk through it, but you gotta be clear. So you gotta come with clarity, or we gotta work through it on our brief call and get clarity. But once we know exactly where we going, we not deviating to the path. If you want to be a millionaire, we not gonna stop when you make $10,000 a month and say, dang, this feel good. That $120,000 a year, man, I done paid off my debt. Man, shoot, I done got me a couple investments outside of just, you know, my online business. Man, this feel good, JT. I think I'm gonna stop right here. Right? My uncle said this years ago to me and my best friend, and it caught my best friend, and I've been combating it ever since. Right? I wasn't at an M yet. Far from it. Far from it, right? Was barely at 10% of it, right? So my uncle said, man, everybody want to be a millionaire till you make $400,000 a year. And then you realize that if you don't have good credit, you can fix your credit, clean up your credit, get good credit, and you can live the same way as somebody that make $1 million a year when you making $400,000, right? Because whatever money you don't have, a lending institution will give you the money, right? You could easily borrow another $600,000, right? And afford to pay it off if you already making $400,000. So he was like, man, everybody want to make $1 million till they make $400,000. I'm like, nah, I really want to make an M, multiple of them. And then my friend, I think my friend is making 330 to 360, somewhere in between there. And he like, man, they right. Right? He was like, man, they right, bro. I'm done. Man, shoot, I'm building $1 million house now. I'm building a 1-point-something million house. Man, custom, everything I ever wanted. It's almost like a dream house. Man, I'm building a $1 million house. Got plenty of money saved up, plenty of money invested, can drive what I want to drive, go where I want to go, stay as long as I want to stay. Man, why work 3 times as harder for the same life? Like, this is the life I want, right? So I'm gonna tell you right now, right? Man, hey, if that's your goal, we gonna hold you to the goal. We ain't gonna make 300,000 and stop. We gonna make an M. Cause that's what you said you wanted. And your first mind was your right mind, right? And you gonna be mad at me, and you might quit on me at 3. I can't make you not quit. But we gonna go into it with the expectations that, hey, if you said you wanted to make 100,000 a year, we gonna do everything to get you to 100,000 a year. If you say you want to make $1 million a year, we gonna do everything like you said you wanted to make $1 million a year, right? So, hey, go ahead, cop the funding guide, get your 50 to 100K. We'll book your one-on-one call, tell you about what play you should run with the funding, so that way you can pay back the money times whatever and turn a profit, right? And then if you need us to help you do it, I really believe that the world is going in a space where you're not gonna need more information, you're gonna need more implementation, right? So, man, the stuff that we're building behind the scenes is not another course for you to buy. It's not another book for you to. Well, I love to write. I ain't want to lie. So I'm gonna always be writing books. I ain't gonna lie, right? So I'm always writing. But the things that I'm most excited about, it's not another course for you to buy, not another book for you to read, right? We're actually building out the implementation systems, right?
66 miles.
So,
for about 41 miles, continue straight.
All right. So, we are building implementation engines, right? Yes, we'll still have books for the people that like the books. Yes, we'll have training courses, virtual and in person, live and on demand, right? So yes, we'll have all that stuff that people like and want, but beyond that, man, I want to help somebody get to the money on implementation engines, right? That's what I really want to help you build. How do you actually do what you know you should be doing so you get the results that you deserve to have, right? I love